Hey guys, this is Wrench here, Primo of Commentary. This is going to be the first fight between Jaedong and Midas, or Midas and Jaedong, if you prefer that. In the Hana Daetoo MSL 2010 spring season. Yes. This is probably the matchup I'm most excited for. Yeah. It's going to be on odd I2 to start things off. Okay, too fast. On odd I2 to start things off, Midas at the bottom right position as the red terran, have Jaedong the upper left position as the brown zerg. TVZ. One of two non-mirror matchups. We have two mirrors and two non-mirrors. But so far the things are set up. There is a very nice possibility of a TVZ final yet again. And in fact, there's a nice possibility of a Flash versus Jaedong final yet again, where Flash might get his revenge, or Jaedong might reach the peak of legends and get 3 gold in each tournament. So he would reach the same peak, I believe, that Nada reached. But before any of that, before we get into the nitty-gritty, I'm going to get some syncage done. 57, 58, 59, you guys know what that's for. For those of you that note, it's so that because I record my audio separately from the video, and then I have to sync them together and to make sure that when I said at the correct time, actually it gets said on the correct time in the video. Because otherwise, everything is all strange and worthless. So yeah, definitely Midas has been an absolute revelation. Going to We Made Fox was the best thing Midas ever did for his career, by far. He's been playing very well, has really impressed me this MSL season. I'm afraid that I think there's a possibility that Jaedong is the wall that he shall not have to face, that he's going to have to face the beast that is Jaedong. But we're going to see whether his slightly unorthodox style of play will actually come in handy, because he doesn't really play that standard. He's not the type of guy that always goes for 1-racks into command center, into standard play, into, you know, pretty much what everybody else goes for. He needs to play a non-technical game, because if he I think if he plays a game of technical play, basically, who's the better technical player overall, I think he's going to find himself losing. Jaedong on the opposite side, I think he went for a 12-hatch. Just no adding is supplied. This is, of course, a 2-player map. And just overall, I think Midas definitely needs to add in a little bit of his own flair if he wants to play toe-to-toe against Jaedong. It needs to act in some funky old-school strategies. Not necessarily play safe all the time. Not necessarily play safe and defensive. It's very important not to allow Jaedong to dictate the flow of the game, because Jaedong, as a zerg player, really can do that. Midas, meanwhile, is going to start off this first set with just good old standard play. Just going to start off with a 1-racks into command center, so he's just going to start off standard, going to try to get his macro up off 2 bases, and try to stay on that. Play a little bit defensive, start things off. Kind of Jaedong put down production hatchery, so he's most likely going to go for Midas off 2 bases. 3 hatch, he's going to have that spawning pull up very soon, probably going to rush to lair as he does so. Still don't see an extractor up yet, but I assume it's going to be on the way any minute now. Commencer about halfway down there for Midas, and he's still getting a pretty decent scout with a CV at the very least. Letting it go just as I say that, might want to continue microing that and make sure you manage to keep that alive. Only 2 more shots on the CV, so just be careful and getting there. Meanwhile, getting his second racks up. Still in refinery. He's actually not really hurrying his way to tech, interestingly enough. Usually you'd see a refinery come up just about this point to try to get that academy going and search. Evolution chamber actually going to come for Jaedong, so I think this might actually be a switch up. Might actually go for workers instead. Could actually be a very good move, because I think that Midas is going to be expecting Mutalisk coming at him, so a tech switch at this point. Really good, really nice timing for this tech switch, because especially with that production hatchery, I think there's a good shot that Midas thought that his opponent would be going for. Pretty good chance that Midas thought his opponent would be going for Midas. Evolution chamber almost up. Probably going to see hydrogen coming up soon alongside as well. And Midas, meanwhile, has his academy on the way. He's getting his gas up, so he's going to be able to produce off those 2 racks. And going to be able to get all those upgrades going, get them defenses going. We're probably going to be seeing an engineer bay from him as well to get some turrets in there. A turret, maybe at the side or in front of the barracks. A couple to cover the main, a couple to cover the natural expansion. So it's very important that you manage to use a turret to cover your production facilities. Okay, engineering bay actually getting some upgrades going. Lair is on the way just now. Second extractor on the way as well, but I don't see any true production buildings at all. So I'm wondering whether Jaedong actually still doesn't. I don't think I've seen any single Zerglings out of him from now either. And Midas actually playing a little bit defensive, staying with all of his Marines instead of his own base. Probably just going to get some medics out now alongside. Might go for a 10 Marine, 2 medic push out to force Jaedong to put down some second colonies, because Jaedong doesn't really have that many units on the ground. I'm wondering what exactly exactly he's going for. Third barracks now going to be on the way for Midas. And both players playing kind of defensively. Jaedong, I'm not really sure what you could call what he's doing defensive. It's kind of strange. He's not really... Didn't see any troops out there for him. Just getting his drone count up, just getting his academy going, finally putting down his Hydra stand. So it acts as a kind of partial blockade off that ramp. That's kind of a nice little building placement there. That is finally getting his Zerglings out there. And meanwhile, getting an overlord inside of Midas's base and actually going to run that back. He doesn't want to get picked off by the Marines. Wondering whether Midas should actually have enough troops to go out and push if he wants to do that. Wants to be careful, know that he doesn't get bypassed by Zerglings and then gets his main heavily harassed. Just has to be overall careful with that. Jaedong going to add... Whoa, okay, interesting enough. This is very interesting. Actually, Jaedong going to add in a fourth production hatch, a fourth hatchery right now. So this is the second production hatchery. Midas moving a little bit out now. This forces Jaedong already putting on 2 creepy canals at the front. Jaedong knows he doesn't have much in the way of troops. He's actually... I think he's gearing up for some massive production build here. I don't really know what exactly he's going for. He's actually competing with Midas 2 base on 2 base right now, and no Mulus Scouts to go do some harassment. Has some Zerglings out there, but Midas will be able to handle them with Stim already in there. He's going to be able to handle the Zerglings fairly well. I think it was a dude explaining to his girlfriend or something what's exactly going on the screen, but very, very odd build that Jaedong's going for. I think he's going to focus on ground troops. He has quite a few Zerglings out there already, factoring him on the way for Midas. He's going to be producing a lot of Marines off these 3 barracks, still getting waiting on his range at the moment. Still not seeing a single engineering bay out of him. I don't know why. I think an engineering bay would be... He's actually going for factory instead of that, but I think an engineering bay would still serve him well just to get those upgrades up. Doesn't need them quite yet. We do see some Hydras out there finally for Jaedong. He's meanwhile going to lose an Overlord here to Stimmed Marines, and at the very least, he's going to be able to get some pressure. Midas desperately now going to be forced to fight back, only for Marines. Medics just now coming off the line, but still these are going to be able to penetrate right inside of that. CV's not coming off the line at the right time. Few Marines are needed here. CVs and Medics are going to try to fight this back. Medics and SCVs actually doing a pretty decent job. This Medics healing the SCVs. They try to fight back these Zerglings. Zerglings, I mean, we're going to be able, not going to prevent the factory from coming up, but I think there's going to be more than enough Marines this time to come up and pick off these Zerglings. The SCVs still coming off the line as well. These Zerglings are going to be forced back into natural expansion at this point. Bunker coming up just a little bit too late for Midas to prevent it from happening, and Jaedong one single Zergling still in there to keep getting scanning up. Finally going to expand the 12 o'clock base, going very heavily on the Zerglings there, but nice little attack here from, I think the Zergling is going to get killed very soon. Oh, might pick off an SCV that was putting up supply, but Jeep and Jaedong going to move out a little bit now with his Zerglings almost catching some Marines in there. Midas still going to try to put on the pressure, also spotting the 12 o'clock position. We're going to see who actually runs with his entire force. Not going to keep with that force out there. Finally, yeah, I think he's going to run towards the 12 o'clock now. Jaedong going to be forced to attack that tribute to try to prevent that 12 o'clock position being taken out. What's the good about this position for Midas? That he might catch those lurkers out of position, but not taking down 2 of the lurkers, but getting quite a few of his own Marines picked off, fighting back the Zerglings right now. Has his medics out of position, not in place to heal his Marines though, so they're all going to go down. Midas losing his troop, yeah, kind of blowing air in his cheeks like, should have been able to do a little bit better there. Could have maneuvered out around a little bit, but Jaedong doing a nice pincher attack by the Zerglings. Still Midas overall, adding in a second factory, so I think it was a starport there as also. I'm wondering what this X is going to go for. I think he's going to try to get some serious ground forces out there. Also on 2 bases now, Jaedong just not getting his third. Midas still going to be able to sit on these 2 for a while. Do finally see an engineering barrier out there. Weapons 1 is going to be quite significantly late though. Jaedong, whoa, huge amount of drones. So he's been focusing on a lot of drones. Usually when a Zerg player expands the 3rd time, he, a few drones go, maybe 2 to 3, and then he produces the rest. But instead, he's going to be able to use that factory for production. Hatchery, I'm sorry. He's going to be able to use the hatchery production. Spire and Hive are already on their way for Jaedong. He's going to rush to Hive. With that Spire on there, I'm wondering if he's going to use that. Probably going to be for Scourge. And meanwhile, just going to try most likely to go for Devours. I don't think... I've seen a lot of Zerg players try to go for very early Ultras, and it comes back to fail, to bite them in the ass. And Midas actually going to go for Vultures, and I'm really excited for this because very early Vultures with Mines and Speed, I think, already as well. I'm not altogether sure whether I saw the Speed or not. A 3rd factory going to come down, and he's just going to skip the tanks altogether. And this is actually very nicely because I really like this idea for Midas here because he's very good. He's shown a lot of, does not have Speed on his Vultures, by the way. He's shown a lot of impressive play with that. The Mines are going to help to act as spotters for the Zerg army going on. It's going to help to act as a delaying tactic against those lurkers. Some lurkers, we're gonna get, hold lurkers here, nice hold lurkers, scan, oh no scan for Midas. He's gonna try to run off, losing at least 6 or 7, I think. Oh no, even more, 12 kills on one of those lurkers. Not quite sure if that was all from that one single fight. I think one of those lurkers actually survived from one thing, but still, nice attack there. Nice